Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lisa Goodfellow, and I am the leader of our Miller Thomson's National Labor and Employment Group. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to our very first in-person Toronto Conference Center, Toronto Congress Center client conference since before the pandemic. You may remember we were actually just about to have this event in March of 2020 when we decided we better put it on pause. Remember, maybe for 2 weeks or so we thought it was going to last. And then we know everyone who had COVID, they'd have been isolated, and everything would go back to normal. So as we know, it turns out that's 2.5 years ago and before we could all be back together here again. But it's really lovely to see you, and I really thank all of you who braved the fog and the COVID to be here with us. We have held many webinars, as you know, in the intervening months, and probably published more legal update newsletters than we did in the whole 10 years combined before that to help keep you guys up to date on all of the changing issues. And we enjoyed getting to know your cats and your dogs and even your wallpaper through Zoom and Teams meetings and all the other forms of social media over the intervening years. But there's really nothing like being here together in person. So, and getting to chat and maybe a little extra time due to technology glitches to chat before we even got started this morning. It's nice to see you all in person. It's good, we always find it's a good networking event for our clients to speak to one another as well. And just to touch the flesh again, literally. Our numbers are still quite a bit lower than usual, you'll notice, as a result of COVID, and maybe because of the fog as well, a few flights that have not been able to land. So I'm afraid that the worries about COVID are still keeping quite a few people at home. But I think this size of group is actually quite nice, and I hope it'll give you a bit more room to social distance, should you wish. This morning. In the spirit of health and safety and the theme of our conference, we are pleased to offer complimentary branded masks and hand sanitizer if you wish to have that for your comfort. It is a mask optional event, so whatever makes you feel most comfortable. If you would like to wear a mask, feel free to. If you don't want to, that's fine. Here comes my cable. Because so many people were unable to attend in person, and that was becoming apparent over the last couple of weeks, we made a decision to actually video record all of the presentations today. And we're going to post them on our website for those who missed it. The good news, for those of you that did bring yourself in here, is that if you had trouble choosing which topic you wanted to go and see, you now can see both. So you'll be able to go on and look at the opposite session to the one that you chose. Thank you. Great, thanks. Our invited morning guest was also, unfortunately, not able to make it here this morning. So instead, I thought it would be nice to take this extra time to introduce all of the members of our group, since some of them will be speaking in one room only, and you might not all get to see everyone's faces. Very close to the airport here. So a number of the members of our group are with us here today. You'll see many familiar faces, I'm sure, and we also have quite a few new ones. So we continue to grow despite the craziness that's gone on in the last couple of years. If each of you could just stand up and wave to the crowd when I call your name. First, from Toronto, we have, and I've got my reading glasses, that's a new COVID development as well. From Toronto, we have Hugh Dyer, Robert England, Christine O'Donoghue, usually the most popular person in the room, but for some reason stuck by herself today. Andrzej Nowakowski, Nadia Timenchenko. I don't know if Nadia made it here. She was going to maybe be a bit late this morning. She's not here, but she will be joining us and speaking later today. We have Jillian Takkatarna. I actually didn't see Jillian yet this morning either. She's coming in later? Okay, thanks. David Sai. Nafisa Chowdhury. Where are you, Nafisa? There you are. Zainab Yusuf. Justin Diggle. Greg Bush. Renata Antoniak. Sorry, I can't see you without these. Mike Cleveland. Aaron Minnock. Kayla Coburn. Arjun Gandhi. The young ones are all hanging out together, I see. And we also have Brian Bedegig, who's one of our environmental health and safety specialists here today as well. And with 1 foot in Toronto and 1 foot in Halifax, our newest pension and benefits specialist, Hugh Wright. And as you'll see, he does have very long legs. A few of our Toronto partners couldn't be here today. Dirk Van de Kamer and Michelle McGillivray were otherwise booked, but they send their regrets, and sorry to miss the opportunity to see everyone today. And as we always at this event like to highlight our national capabilities as a labor and employment law group, we've invited some of our partners from some other offices here to speak today. We have Claudia Desjardins-Bellil from Montreal. And Lawrence Witt is also joining us from Montreal, but apparently his plane is still on the tarmac in Montreal. But he will be here later today, hopefully. I hear the... and all the way from Vancouver, Veronica Rossos. And last but not least, one of our newest additions, Genevieve Quentin from our London office. Thanks, everybody. So just some housekeeping matters before we move on to the first sessions. Today's program qualifies for both legal and HRPA CPD accreditation. 6 hours by the HRPA if you attend the full day. And then 6 hours of continuing legal education for BC and Quebec, and because everything has to be difficult in Ontario, 5.5 hours from the Law Society of Ontario. Go figure. At this point, I would ask you to look at your personalized agenda to see which topic you've chosen for the next session. We have option 1, which is maintaining a healthy bottom line, which is about the latest employment cases. That's going to be in the Pinset room with Christine O'Donoghue, David Sai, and Greg Bush. There's a sign outside the door on the other side of the lobby area showing you where the room is. And then option 2 is looking after your employees' physical health, which is an update on health and safety and workplace safety and insurance issues. And speaking at that will be Rob England, Andre Nowakowski, and Brian Bedegig. The sessions are going to begin at 8:40. How are we doing for that? Well, maybe 8:45. But feel free to take some time to grab another cup of coffee and a snack to take in with you if you like, and make yourself comfortable before you settle in. There's going to be a 10-minute break after those sessions, and then session B may require you to change rooms, so we're going to change the notes outside the doors if you can't find your personal agenda. And then we'll see you all back here in the Cohen Room again for lunch at about 11:45. And please be sure to either drop your business card or fill in the little slips that you saw by the registration table to enter your name for our door prize, which is going to be a $150 Amazon gift certificate, which we'll draw at the end of the day to make you stay till the very end. And I just would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that the land on which we gather and which in the region of Peel operates here is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For the thousands of years, the Indigenous peoples inhabited and cared for this land, and continue to do so today. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabeg, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples, the land that is home to the Métis, and most recently, the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. Sorry, I don't know why this makes me tear up every time. We're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and by doing so, give our respect to its first inhabitants. And on a personal note, I think we should apologize to everyone for the fact that we are in a sea of asphalt where we're located right now. So thanks, everyone. You can move on to your next session now and enjoy, and we'll see you back here at lunchtime.